Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in today's video, we're looking inside Tesla's plan to save Volkswagen from disaster, aka imminent bankruptcy. Now, I know this might come across as overly dramatic, but I'm serious. Let me set the scene and give you folks some context. VW, the group, which includes many sub-brands, in 2019 sold approximately 11 million vehicles globally. That's more than anybody else. Toyota came in at number 2. In 2019, Volkswagen's global sales were down about 15% to approximately 9.3 million units. In other words, VW has a lot to lose, more than any other automotive manufacturer. And there are two major, deadly things working against Volkswagen. That is, their structure, the corporate structure. If you guys don't know, there is an absolute cluster within VW. Family ties, a million different chefs in the kitchen, too many people with a say, too many old Luddites in there who don't see the disruption that's coming with electric vehicles. It is an absolute mess. In fact, let me bring up a diagram to show you the ridiculous, convoluted, entangled corporate structure of VW. As you can see, the corporate structure at VW is an absolute mess. Now, I know some of you will assume I'm trolling and just having a bit of a laugh at those diagrams. I'm not. It's just the easiest way for me visually to represent what's going on with this absolutely convoluted cluster of a corporate structure. If you're curious to learn more, jump on Google and learn about the ownership structure, the Porsche family, voting rights, who's on the board, etc., and you'll see exactly what I mean. Point is, it is a mess. More importantly than that, more detrimental than that, is the sheer scale of the business. The best analogy to use here is that of a ship in the ocean, a gigantic ship. If you want to turn a gigantic ship around, it is a slow process. VW is the biggest ship on the ocean. The smaller, the less massive a corporation in general, the more agile, the quicker they can pivot and turn around. The behemoth that is the VW group needs all the help they can get to turn around and change direction. And that's where Tesla comes into play. So let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously. Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it. Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. This is a very important starting point for this video. Tesla's fundamental reason for existence is to have a positive impact and do good in the world. You may not be aware of this, but back in 2014, this blog post from Elon Musk: "All our patent belong to you." If you don't get the meme reference, Google it. So, let me quote. "Yesterday, there was a wall of Tesla's patents in the lobby of our Palo Alto headquarters. That is no longer the case. They have been removed in the spirit of the open source movement for the advancement of electric vehicle technology. Tesla Motors was created to accelerate the advent of sustainable transport. If we clear a path to the creation of compelling electric vehicles, but then lay intellectual property landmines behind us to inhibit others, we are acting in a manner contrary to that goal. And the most important part, Tesla will not initiate patent lawsuits against anyone who, in good faith, wants to use our technology." This was unquestionably the single most important insight into the DNA of the company. The fact that Tesla would open source their patents and allow anyone who wanted to use them to build their own competing electric vehicles and use them in good faith to do so without pursuing legal action was the clearest possible example that Tesla cared more about their mission than anything else. In addition, it also indicated an extreme level of confidence that Tesla would be fine no matter what. Their ability to innovate, engineer, and continue to push things forward meant they weren't risking the entire company by doing so. This was a hugely bullish sign for the company more than half a decade ago. And now, more than 7 years later, we come to Herbert Diess, Volkswagen, and Tesla's plan to save Volkswagen from imminent disaster. Back in January 2020, an article on Reuters appeared featuring a number of quotes from the captain of the VW ship Herbert Diess. Quote, "The question is, are we fast enough? The era of the classic car maker is over. This is probably the most difficult challenge Volkswagen has ever faced," clearly referring to their transition to EVs. These comments from Herbert Diess required courage, testicles, and a brain to see what is around the corner. They also pissed off a huge number of people in the convoluted structure within the Volkswagen group, but these comments needed to be made. Herbert Diess has been sounding the alarm bell for a couple of years now, and it's taken a while. Almost lost his job along the way, according to inside sources, but his contract has been extended and he's doing the best to not only alert the Volkswagen group to the imminent iceberg they're headed directly for, but doing his best to turn the ship around. But VW needs help. As I tweeted just a few days ago, quote, "I wonder how frustrated Herbert Diess gets. Poor guy is trapped in a morass of blindness at VW. Seems like the only person at the company who sees what is happening, knows what needs to be done, and has the balls to say it. Poor guy." To give you guys an example of this, I quote from Alex Avoit over on Twitter. According to BI sources, Herbert Diess and brand CEO Ralph Brandstatter called all 120 top managers in Wolfsburg together for a crisis meeting. Diess stated that compared to Tesla and Chinese manufacturers, VW is too expensive, slow, and with low productivity. They're not competitive. Skipping ahead a bit, just a few more key quotes from this. "It's urgently necessary that a new course is set in Wolfsburg. Future competition with Tesla's Gigafactory will be brutal. The electric car pioneer sets new standards in car production." And the most important quote from this entire thread, "For example, a Model 3 is built in 10 hours, more than 3 times as fast as a VW ID3. This puts Tesla in another dimension in terms of productivity and profitability." And another key insight, Volkswagen CEO warns a delay in shift to electric vehicles could cost 30,000 jobs. VW are officially in panic mode, and they should be. But not all hope is lost. Let's see why. So, what are we looking at here? 2 engineers who also happen to be running automotive companies. That's right, Herbert Diess, a mechanical engineering background. We also know Elon Musk, one of the world's, if not the world's greatest engineer, period. And these guys have a little bit of a bromance happening. Elon Musk and Herbert Diess have met privately a number of times. They've generally been very supportive of one another as well. And it doesn't just end there. Tweet from Elon Musk back in September 2019, quote, "Herbert Diess is doing more than any big car maker to go electric. The good of the world should come first. For what it's worth, he has my support." A tweet from Herbert Diess back in January 2021. "Hello Twitter, I'm here to make an impact with VW Group, especially on political issues, and of course to get some of your market share, Elon Musk. After all, our ID3 and e-tron have won the first markets in Europe. Looking forward to productive discussions." A little bit more fun here from Herbert Diess on Twitter. "Volkswagen overtakes Tesla," not the company, but a vehicle. So having a little bit of fun here. However, here's where things get fascinating and the crux of today's video. Another tweet from Herbert Diess just a couple of days ago. Quote, "With a new mindset and a revolution in our headquarter Wolfsburg, we can succeed the new competition. Good meeting with 200 top managers." Remember the analogy, the chords, 200 top managers. Anyway, "Good meeting with 200 top managers in Outback. Big responsibility at a crucial point for our company. Thanks for joining, Elon Musk. We will visit you soon in Grünheide." And look at this. Elon Musk making an appearance digitally at a Volkswagen Group meeting among 200 senior managers. Let that sink in. Why would the CEO of a competing company who are currently eating Volkswagen's lunch volunteer his time to attempt to help this company out? That's right. What's Tesla's mission again? To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, not to bankrupt every single legacy automotive manufacturer in the process, although, let's be honest, many of them will be out of business as a side effect. It's not Tesla's intent to put these companies out of business, but their own incompetence and stupidity is going to cause this outcome. So let's learn more about this Volkswagen Group meeting that featured an appearance from Elon Musk, and then I'll discuss why I believe that Tesla are going to help save Volkswagen from disaster. And while doing so, make many billions upon billions of dollars. Win-win. Here's a post from Herbert Diess over on LinkedIn yesterday. Quote, "We need a new mindset at Volkswagen AG to take on the new competition." Now, this is very important. Opening line here, and he's right. The old way of thinking is going to lead these idiots to bankruptcy. They must shift their thinking. Let's continue. After 3 days... just 3 days, 200... just Such an inefficient company. But anyway, after 3 days with 200 top managers from around the world, I am confident we have everything we need to tackle the challenges. Right strategy, right competencies, right management team. We can do it, but we have to deliver now. It was great to meet the colleagues in person and to discuss how we transform the group as fast as possible. One big topic, our headquarter, Wolfsburg, our biggest and most traditional site. Traditional in this context, definitely not a positive term. With Trinity, we will revolutionize it to compete with Tesla in Grünheide, where they will build cars with an impressive speed and productivity. Rolf Brandstatter already has many ideas how to build a new factory within the old one. We did many right things in the past. In the old world, again, just want to take a moment here, Herbert Diess referring to the internal combustion engine world, that is now no longer the world. In the old world, Volkswagen is strong, but there is no guarantee for the new world. It's a crucial moment for our company. Erin Meyer told us about the impressive and fascinating transformation Netflix went through. Inspirational. We are far away from that today, but need to get there. Faster decisions, less bureaucracy, more responsibility. I love this. Absolutely right. And again, just wanted to emphasize faster decisions, and then after 3 days with 200 top managers, you guys can understand the issues with VW Group now, right? Less bureaucracy, absolutely true, as we talked about the convoluted structure of this business, and more responsibility, aka people with both balls and brains using them. A surprise guest, Elon Musk, joined us for a video talk in the evening. We'll talk more about this in a moment. Happy to hear that even our strongest competitor thinks that we will succeed in the transition if we drive the transformation with full power. One example for the speed of Tesla. They handled the chip shortage very well. The reason? They are developing their own software. Within just 2 to 3 weeks, they had new software which allows them to use different chips. Impressive. Now we have to move on. Let's revolutionize Wolfsburg, Volkswagen, and make the biggest transformation in the history of our group reality. So VW clearly in panic mode, Herbert Diess there in no uncertain terms saying that they urgently need to make changes now. VW will need to move urgently and make an enormous number of changes, including, unfortunately, jettisoning many tens of thousands of existing employees who are either no longer useful or simply can't be afforded as they continue to invest heavily, tens upon tens of billions of dollars, in transitioning the company to becoming competent at producing electric vehicles at scale. They'll need new tools, new robots, redesigned factories, a million different changes all happening at the same time. It's going to be brutal, expensive, and life-threatening. However, there's just one problem. Even in the best case scenario, even if Volkswagen can eventually start producing their own batteries, spool up their electric vehicle production, benefit from economies of scale, copy almost every manufacturing technique and process that Tesla has developed over the past decade, they still have one enormous company-threatening problem: autonomy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Nobody, no company, period, will be catching up with Tesla. Tesla's lead in terms of autonomy is literally unassailable. I've covered the reasoning behind this in detail in many other videos. Use the search function on this channel if you're thinking, what are you talking about, you moron? The long story short, Tesla has more vehicles with more sensors out there collecting data, and they're growing their vehicle fleet, their data collection fleet exponentially. Data is how this is won. They also have the world's best engineers, including the all-time GOAT of computer vision, Andrej Karpathy. Tesla's hiring aggressively for new AI talent, recently held their AI day. Tesla is running away with this. There is literally no point for a company like Volkswagen or Toyota or anyone else out there to even attempt to solve autonomy. They'll invest tens upon tens of billions of dollars and always remain at best in a distant second place. And I do want to emphasize distant second place. Now you might be thinking, well, why should this matter? Wouldn't second place in terms of autonomy be better than a human driver today at some point in the future anyway? Yes, but here's the issue. Tesla's autonomous software will always be safer, much safer, demonstrably safer, and they will have the data to back this up. So just play along at home here, and let's just imagine a scenario in the future where Tesla's software, Tesla's autonomous software, is literally 10 times safer than the second best software. Maybe 20 times, but let's just say 10 times safer. This means in theory that you're 10 times less likely to die in a Tesla using Tesla's autonomous software than using a competing vehicle using competing autonomous software. The question I ask you is is how many consumers out there with access to this information do you think will choose to drive a vehicle that isn't running the safest software, that is 10 times more likely to kill them, their wife, their husband, their children, their loved ones, their passengers, etc.? This is a serious question. Now, yes, there are some people out there with different risk tolerances. People ride motorcycles even though they know the risk of dying on them is much higher than being in a passenger vehicle. The point I'm making is there will be a statistically significant number of people who will flat out refuse to get in a vehicle that isn't running the world's most safe autonomous software. Now, as I've argued for the last almost 2 years on this channel, it's obvious, inevitable in the future, that Tesla will be open to licensing their autonomous software to other automakers simply from the ethical point of view, the moral argument. If they can do this, they will save tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of lives. Tesla is a company with a heart. They care about doing good in the world. This is so incredibly obvious. And this has also since been vindicated. Elon Musk explicitly stating recently that Tesla is open to licensing their FSD software for those exact reasons. In short, it would be unethical for Tesla not to do this. So, have you figured out where I'm going with this yet? Bingo! Tesla inevitably will license their FSD software to Volkswagen. VW will save themselves multiple tens of billions of dollars, eventually getting nowhere anyway, and they can focus on more important things. Licensing this software from Tesla means they don't need to hire the engineers, they don't need to develop their own AI team, they don't need to bother even attempting to solve this incredibly difficult challenge and never ever catching up to Tesla anyway. Instead, they can focus all their energy on resources on building electric vehicles and their battery and software technology in those vehicles. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to those of you who've been following this channel for a while, understand how I think, even understand how Tesla think. It's been so obvious that this was an inevitable outcome. I've been modeling Tesla FSD licensing fees into my Tesla valuation model since day one, but following this VW meeting and Elon Musk's appearance, it is beyond inevitable that this will happen. And now we get down to the numbers. How many billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars could this potentially bring for Tesla if they license their full self-driving software to companies like Volkswagen? So let's do some really rough numbers here. Now, I'm going to assume some fairly conservative numbers here. We have to factor in, well, how many vehicles will VW even be producing in the future? Spoiler alert, it's going to be a fraction of the 11-ish million vehicles per year they were producing at their peak. And of those vehicles, how many are licensing Tesla's FSD software? Now, we'll assume this is a few years into the future. VW volumes have collapsed, but many vehicles within their fleet are using this autonomous software. I'm just going to assume a conservative $100 per month licensing fee for Tesla's FSD software, keeping in mind that Tesla charges their own customers $200 per month. This would allow VW to mark this software up and actually make money offering autonomy to customers as well. Let's say $100 per month. We'll times that by 12 months. That's $1,200 revenue per vehicle using Tesla's FSD built by Volkswagen. Let's just say that in a single year, maybe 3 million vehicles are using this software from Tesla. I think this is relatively conservative. This is about $3.6 billion in pure profit to Tesla based on licensing fees for their software. Let's think about this though. What if the following year, Volkswagen sells another 3 million vehicles, each using Tesla's full self-driving software? So that's another $3.6 billion in pure profit to Tesla, right? Wrong. You see, remember those 3 million vehicles from last year? They're still paying $100 a month. So it actually turns out to be $7.2 billion. But wait, what about the following year? Maybe another 3 million vehicles from Volkswagen using Tesla's FSD software in a single year. Now that's bringing in $10 billion in pure profit to Tesla just from a fleet of around 9 million Volkswagen vehicles produced over 3 years, all running Tesla's FSD software. Oh, and you think Volkswagen is the only company on planet Earth who are eventually going to license Tesla's FSD software? Not a fucking chance. It's worth doing the numbers here yourself because they get rather ridiculous. Remember, the global fleet is going to transition to electric vehicles. It's going to take a while, but there's over 1 billion vehicles that need to be replaced in the global fleet today. What percentage of those you think in the future may be running Tesla's FSD software? Something to think about. So, in short, Elon Musk has a good heart. Tesla has a mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Elon and Herbert Diess have a strong bromance. Elon Musk has made an appearance at a mission-critical Volkswagen event as a guest speaker. VW and Tesla will at some point in the future announce at least one partnership, including the licensing of FSD software and potentially other things in the future as well. Watch this space. So while Toyota have literally the most brain dead and incompetent leadership in the entire automotive industry and are certainly going bankrupt. General Motors are probably a close second place, showing their desperation, partnering with allegedly fraudulent companies like Nikola and Fraudstown Motors out of sheer desperation. Ford have Twitter trolls attacking Elon Musk and Tesla instead of focusing on their mission. I can confidently say that Volkswagen are at least taking the necessary steps to survive the decade. I do suspect, however, that VW's vehicle volumes are going to collapse. They'll never again come close to their glory days of 10 plus million vehicles sold in a single year, but I suspect they have a pretty good chance of maintaining volumes of multiple millions of vehicles per year if Herbert Diess can maintain his relationship with Elon Musk and Tesla and continue to convince the company that they need to act immediately, desperately, and urgently. Let me know what you guys think. Will VW survive? Is it a good thing that there's a bromance happening between Herbert Diess and Elon Musk? Is it likely that VW will license FSD software and potentially other things from Tesla in the future? And which will be the first legacy automotive manufacturer to go bankrupt this decade? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.